Hey everybody, welcome to my spinning loft. I'm here doing a little bit of some spinning this afternoon on a Saturday. We got through all the crazy rain and the flooding and everything this past week in East Tennessee. We got 6.4 inches here, right here on our property. It was scary at times with the rate that the rain was coming down so fast. But we got through it. We got through it all right, and we're in this weird kind of between the storms because we're supposed to get some more. I think the beginning of next week, and another 2 inches or something. I mean, we're talking about almost 10 inches in something like 10 or 15 days. It's nuts. So just do what you can while you can. So today. It's still very sloppy outside. You can't really do a whole lot. I mean, I guess you can if you, but you're gonna get, covered in mud and not very far. So I'm just focusing more on in the house type work, which is, traditionally what most people did in the wintertime. So one of the things that I'm working on is I'm spinning up some, what I'm calling rug yarn. It's not at all like, next to the skin soft. It's some more coarse yarn than a while ago. I have all my bats underneath here, so I have 2 more bats that I have to spin, and this was done on a drum carder, so it's like this big square of fiber, and then I kind of like rip a piece off and I get all these strips, and then I pre-draft everything, and as I pre-draft it, it makes everything thinner, not nearly as thick as it was, and then I kind of just wrap it up in my hand into like these little nests. So I have this all set and ready to go for my next skein. I have a bobbin here. This is what I'm going to be working on. I spun this yesterday, and this is my single, and I'm going to do what's it goes by many different names. It's called Navajo Ply or chain ply, letter N hyphen ply for Navajo Ply. It's basically a way for the yarn to kind of loop on itself as a chain, so that when you end up having is a 3-ply yarn with really no waste, which is nice. So this is one of the, I did 3 so far actually. This is some of the yarns that I've done, and I dyed them recently with a little technique that I do. And this is, I mean, it's not super scratchy, but it's definitely not something you'd want to make a sweater out of. But if you were to look at my, and I don't know how well this will come through, but there's actually 3 strands, but it's from my one continuous strand. So I wanted to get 3 of these skeins of kind of this like variegated blue. All my other ones are going to be white or cream color, whatever it is. I might dye some different colors because I've been trying to experiment more with colors, but I knew I had what I had for the blue, and I wanted to do that. So what I have as far as a spinning wheel, I'm going to turn this around so you guys can see. You're going to see the spinning wheel at least partially, but you're going to have to see the space out here to see what I'm doing. So my startup technique is nothing fancy. In fact, it's probably very rough. This is a Mach 3 Spinolution spinning wheel, which are great wheels. Really love them. They don't make the Mach 3 anymore. They make what's now called the Monarch, and they've redesigned a few things, probably better than this, but in essence, it's basically the same wheel. So I have my bobbin here, and this whole thing is called the flyer assembly, because when it spins, it looks like it's flying. It's going pretty fast. And then I have my single over here to the side. And because it's a chain, this really relies upon twist, which is pretty much everything with yarn. But when you're spinning a single, most people will spin it clockwise, and then when they ply, you have to go the opposite way, because if you keep going in the same direction, it'll just twist and twist and twist and twist. So you're going to ply in the opposite direction. You can spin your single counterclockwise and then ply clockwise. I've heard, and I don't know how accurate this is, because I knit, I don't really crochet, that some people who are crocheters, they prefer the counterclockwise spun and clockwise plied because of the way that the crochet hook handles everything, something to that effect. I don't know for sure. So what I'm gonna do is, this is my leader yarn, this right here, and I'm gonna start my ply just to be able to kind of get twist in this, because right now it's a big old loop, and nothing is going to really catch onto this at all. I'm just going to hold it so I get a decent amount of twist, and then I have a tensioning knob over here. All the newer spinning wheels have it, not just Spinolution, but this will dictate how quickly or how forcefully you have it tug. There's also, and draws the yarn onto the center here of the bobbin. There's ways that you can actually lace this to lessen that if you want to. But for this purpose, I really actually need a fairly strong uptake. So let's go ahead and do that a little more. Okay, now what I'm gonna do is basically make a loop here. You can see that. And I'm just gonna pinch the yarn at the top. That's all I have to do. And then I'm gonna grab my other yarn. So it looks like almost I'm doing that string game thing. And then just spin some more and let that twist come down. Now you have to let the loop here draw your yarn through it and grab your next section of yarn. I kind of straighten it out a little bit. Now you're going to have like this section where you're going to have several bits of the yarn all come together, and sometimes it creates a little bit of a bump. You can kind of rub that down a little bit. Now one of the issues that I have, I don't know if you can see it real well, there's one of these right here, because I spun this pretty with pretty good ratio, pretty high ratio. So if I'm not careful, I can get all this kind of accordion effect. So you got to make sure that when you're doing it, you are getting all of the yarn smooth. And because you're literally doing a triple ply, you have 3 times the yardage, if you will, that has to go in the opposite direction. So if you hold on to your yarn a little bit, it's not the end of the world. It's not like somehow you have to hurry and get the yardage onto the bobbin right away. In fact, it might be a little bit better if you let it set it straight like this so that you can get more twist into it. Now at this point you can see I'm getting a little bit of a buildup of what I've plied, so I need to move it to the next peg, so I'll get this section that will be plied. And this is one of the hallmarks of a lot of spinning wheels, is that you will have to stop fairly frequently to readjust the uptake, and you don't want to have it build up too much on one peg, because if you do that, then you won't be able to load your bobbin very evenly. And one of the really nice things, especially about the Spinolutions, is that they have some of the largest bobbins on the market. So you really want to try and maximize, at least I do, want to maximize the amount of yardage that I get onto a bobbin, because most of the time when I spin, I'm spinning with the mind to have as many skeins of a particular fiber as I can get, because I like to do projects. I like to be able to have enough yarn to knit a sweater, or if I'm selling it, that somebody else would have enough yarn to be able to complete a project that they may be working on. I mean, it's nice sometimes to be able to just, you know, do a one skein project. They're always great, but at the same time, it's if you ever want to make, you know, a larger shawl or a blanket, something like that, generally speaking, you're going to have lots and lots of skeins of yarn, balls of yarn, so that you can get your project done. And there is nothing scarier than to sit down and you're almost done with your project and to say, oh Lord, I don't think I have enough yarn for all this work that I've done. So anyway, this is what I'm doing. Kind of just holding the loop just to make sure that I don't lose my spot. But I'm going to continue on with what I've got, because I've got quite a bit still to go. And it's pretty simple. It seems like it might actually be kind of hard to be able to do this, but I think it's actually one of the easiest plying methods that there are. And of course, like I was saying before, it definitely saves on your extras, because I have another bobbin here. I was doing a 2-ply, and you almost end up having some extra waste from, you know, you don't spin each bobbin exactly the same. So when you do a chain ply, you almost always will have absolutely minimal amounts of waste for the yarn that you have, which is really nice, especially when you have some of the more expensive fabrics and fibers out there, because there's some that are really, really, really expensive, and you don't want to waste any of it. Alrighty, well, that does it for me, and I hope that you guys are all staying dry and warm and enjoying your Saturday, and remember, you're the gold. Thanks, bye.